Can you believe that the median condo price in Snowmass Village dropped 78.9% this past month? This is David Buck with Christie's International Real Estate, and today we're going to talk about the market stats for all of the Roaring Fork Valley for February of 2026. As we do every month, we're going to talk about everything from Glenwood Springs all the way up to Aspen. And we're going to start in alphabetical order with Aspen, Basalt, Carbondale, etc. And we'll see what neighborhoods were hot, which ones were not. So let's dive in. First, we're going to talk about Aspen. Home sales in Aspen were down 25% from a year ago, going from 4 transactions in February of 25 to 3 this past month. However, the median sales price was down 11.2%, going from 16,896,974 to $15 million this past month. On the condo front, however, the sales were flat. There were 5 last year, 5 this past month. However, that median sales price was up 79.3%. That was going from $2.9 million a year ago to $5.2 million this past month. Next, we're going to dive into Basalt. A year ago, there were no home sales in Basalt, and there was one trade that took place this past month at $1,125,000. Meanwhile, condo and townhome sales were flat with 2 this past month, and there was 2 the previous year. On that, median condo price is down 7.9%, going from $1,560,000 to $1,437,500. Now let's dive into Carbondale. Carbondale saw home sales drop 60% from a year ago, from 10 sales to 4 sales this past month. And we also saw a dip in that median home price, which was at $1,745,000 a year ago. And this past month is at $1,367,800. We did see an increase in condo sales in Carbondale, going from 3 to 4, which is a 33.3% increase. We also saw a huge jump in the median sales price, going from $780,000 to $1,870,000. That's a 139.7% increase year over year in Carbondale for condos. Next, we're going to go all the way down valley to talk about Glenwood Springs. Glenwood Springs also saw a 60% dip in home sales, going from 10 deals to 4. However, there's a slight uptick in that median home price, going from $890,000 to $896,300. We did see an increase in condo sales, going from 2 to 4, which is a 100% increase. And we saw a whopping 29.5% increase in the median condo price, going from $449,500 to $582,000. Next up is Missouri Heights. Home sales in Missouri Heights were flat from 4 a year ago to 4 this past month. There was a 66.6% decrease in that median home price, going from $4.1 million a year ago to $1,367,800 this past month. Similar to previous months, there were no condo sales that took place in Missouri Heights. Next up is Old Snowmass, where we probably saw one of the largest single-family home gains. Sales were up 100% in Old Snowmass, going from 1 to 2 sales. However, that median home price went from $2,450,000 to $9,624,250. Keep in mind, Old Snowmass is the same neighborhood where we saw the highest sale in the entire MLS this past year, with the old monastery that sold in Old Snowmass. And similar to previous months, there were no condo sales that took place in Old Snowmass. Now let's dive into Snowmass Village. We started this video off talking about the condos and how there was a dive in the median condo price. However, we're going to get into that in a second. First, let's talk about the homes. Home sales in Snowmass Village were actually up 50%, going from 2 to 3 transactions. However, that median sales price dropped 52.3%. That was going from $19,425,000 a year ago to $9,275,000 this past month. We also saw a 78.9% dip in that median sales price I'd mentioned earlier. That was going from $3.1 million to only $655,000. Now, you might ask yourself, why such a drastic change? Well, the big reason is there's only one deal that took place this past month, whereas the previous year we saw 9 transactions take place in Snowmass Village, and that's an 88.9% drop in condo sales. So that was obviously an outlier. So sorry about that. I got you in with that hook, but I don't think the market's crashing for Snowmass condos at this point in time. And for our final category of Woody Creek, it's a similar trend that we saw the last few months in that there are no deals that took place in Woody Creek, so we don't have a lot to report on. So that's a wrap for the Roaring Fork Valley MLS update for February of 2026. If you have additional questions about real estate in the Roaring Fork Valley, Aspen, Snowmass, or anywhere else in between, my name is David Buck, and I can be reached at 808-371-3509. Aloha. And I also hope you had an awesome St. Patrick's Day.